Good evening. President Trump has been officially acquitted in his second impeachment, which, by the way, makes him the first president in our nation's history to be found not guilty twice. So today, let's go through some of the highlights of the case. Let's go through the statement that President Trump released afterwards, and then let's discuss the future of President Trump, the future of the Republican Party, as well as the future of America. This is your daily Facts Matter update, and I'm your host, Roman from the Epoch Times. So on Saturday, President Trump was acquitted in his second impeachment trial, which, as I mentioned in the intro, makes him the first president in our nation's history to face impeachment and then be found not guilty twice. Now, during the trial, Democrats were making the argument that President Trump set the stage for violence through repeated claims that the election results were somehow fraudulent. They also alleged that President Trump summoned a mob to Washington, gave the crowd its marching orders, and did nothing to stop the violence as it played out on television. However, the defense attorneys argued that President Trump urged the crowd to be peaceful and that the remarks made about fighting were mere figures of speech, no different from the kind that politicians typically make and that are allowable under the First Amendment protections. One of President Trump's lawyers summed it up this way: "To claim that the president in any way wished, desired, or encouraged lawless or violent behavior is a preposterous and monstrous lie. This is ordinary political rhetoric that is virtually indistinguishable from the language that has been used by people across the political spectrum for hundreds of years. Countless politicians have spoken of fighting for our principles." Now, when he was making that argument, this lawyer for President Trump further accused the Democrats of hypocrisy, saying that over the past 4 years, they have actually made the same type of statements, such as about committing assault against President Trump, threatening Trump supporters, and supporting the BLM protests that regularly turned violent. And in fact, here's a video clip that he played to make his point.
I just don't even know why there aren't uprisings all over the country. Maybe there will be.
There needs to be unrest in the streets for as long as there's unrest in our lives.
You got to be ready to throw a punch. You have to be ready to throw a punch.
Donald Trump, I think you need to go back and punch him in the face.
That I thought he should have punched him in the face.
Feel like punching him.
I'd like to take him behind the gym if I were in high school.
If we were in high school, I'd take him behind the gym and beat the hell out of him.
No, I wish we were in high school. I could take him behind the gym.
I will go and take Trump out tonight.
Take him out now.
Okay.
And you push back on them, and you tell them they're not welcome anymore, anywhere.
Please, get up in the face of some Congress people.
People will do what they do.
I want to tell you, Gorsuch, I want to tell you, Kavanaugh, you have released the whirlwind, and you will pay the price.
We're going to go in there, we're going to...
This is just a warning to you Trumpers. Be careful. Walk lightly. And for those of you who are soldiers, make them pay.
If you had to be stuck in an elevator with either President Trump, Mike Pence, or Jeff Sessions, who would it be?
Does one of us have to come out alive?
Now, by the way, just as an aside, the lawyer who played that video during the trial, he had his own home vandalized, spray painted, the windows were broken, and he said that he's received nearly 100 death threats since taking up the case. Unfortunately, it's the type of political environment that we seem to be in. Now, David Schoen, who is another one of President Trump's attorneys, he characterized the impeachment trial this way: "This unprecedented effort is not about Democrats opposing political violence. It is about Democrats trying to disqualify their political opposition. It is constitutional cancel culture. This is an effort to deplatform the president from our nation's political life and to try to remove a player from the chessboard who would be an effective advocate, a leader against their agenda." Now, what he said there, that this trial was constitutional cancel culture, is very interesting, and I think that it's worth exploring a little bit further. One question that might be worth asking is, why did this trial happen in the first place? Because as you might remember, prior to this trial, there were 2 votes in the Senate which showed that many Republicans viewed this trial as being both illegitimate and unconstitutional from the get-go, because they believed you cannot try a former president. In fact, enough senators believed that it was unconstitutional to try a former president to make this case essentially completely unwinnable. So the question that naturally arises from that is, given the fact that it had almost no chance of success, why was the trial pushed forward in the first place? Well, that's where we get back to the concept of cancel culture. Senator Marsha Blackburn, who is a Republican from Tennessee, she said it this way: The House impeachment managers launched an unconstitutional show trial to humiliate the former president and his supporters. The impeachment managers have accomplished nothing but to extend the pain of the American people. They achieved one thing: Donald J. Trump's acquittal. And she is not the only person who expressed this opinion after the case. In fact, we here at the Epoch Times, we sat down and spoke with Tom Fitton, who is the president of Judicial Watch, and he believes that the real aim of this impeachment was to chill as well as to criminalize speech that opposes the agenda of those on the political left. Here's what he said. It's really an attack on civil rights and President Trump, the civil rights of his supporters who share his concerns about the issues he's raised. And what the left is trying to do is outlaw opposition to its agenda. Number one on the list is concerns about election integrity. If you raise concerns about it, you need to be deplatformed or worse. Now, if you would like to read his full comments on the case or to watch his full interview, which I believe was very interesting, those links will be in the description box below this video for you to check out. And by the way, you know that description box, right? It's the one that's right below that like button that I hope you take a moment to smash. You already know that videos that are like this, talking honestly about what is happening in this world right now, are routinely censored or throttled by big tech companies like YouTube. However, when you smash that like button that's below this video, it forces the YouTube algorithm to share this video out to potentially thousands of more people, letting the truth be known far and wide. And by the way, this is a great opportunity for me to take a quick moment and introduce our sponsor for today's episode, and I'll do so from the sound room. That's right. The sponsor of today's episode is American Hartford Gold, which is a company that's run by patriots, which is why they sponsor a channel like ours. So I don't have a PhD in international economics, but my common sense tells me that when the government is printing so much money in all these stimulus programs, when the Federal Reserve is buying up a colossal amount of assets and in that process creating more currency into our system, and when the national debt is ballooning to close to $30 trillion and yet nobody is talking about it, that's a recipe for a disaster for our fiat currency, for the US dollar. So what I do is every single month, I just allocate a portion of my salary to buying physical gold and silver. And by the way, I am not qualified to give you any type of investment advice. I just tell you what I do. And I believe that physical gold and silver had value 5,000 years ago. It has value today, and it'll likely have value 5,000 years into the future, which is unfortunately more than I can say for the American dollar. Again, just my opinion. And if you're looking to buy physical gold and silver, I would highly recommend that you check out American Hartford Gold. They're one of my personal gold dealers, and they are phenomenal. They have great customer service with the Better Business Bureau. They have an A+ rating, and they're just great people to work with. They're friendly, honest, transparent, just great, everything you could basically want from a gold dealer. I'll throw a link into the description box below this video where you can type in your email, and they will send you a PDF book, basically a guide to beginning to invest in gold and silver. And by the way, they make it super simple. They can either deliver physical gold and silver to your doorstep or deposit it directly into your IRA account, making the whole thing super simple. So check out the link in the description box below or give them a call at 866-242-2352, 866-242-2352, or you can text Roman to 65532. American Hartford Gold, thank you so much for sponsoring this episode. And now, Roman in the studio, back to you. Now, one interesting thing that happened during the impeachment trial that I would really like to highlight is that the Democrat House managers actually presented evidence which was found to have been falsified. Let's take a look at these two tweets which were presented by Eric Swalwell during the trial. The one on the left, it says, "We have been marching all around the country for you, Mr. President. Now we will bring it to D.C. on January the 6th and proudly stand beside you. Thank you for fighting for us." And as you can see, President Trump actually shared this tweet of hers. After which, she wrote the tweet on the right, which says, "Best day ever. Thank you, President Trump, for the retweet. It has been an honor to stand up and fight for you and our nation. We will be standing strong on January the 6th in D.C. with you. We are bringing the cavalry, Mr. President." Now, there are two important things to mention here. One is that notice that next to Jennifer's name is a blue checkmark, indicating that her account is verified. However, Jennifer does not have a verified account on Twitter. In fact, she says that she has never had a verified account on Twitter, and she made a statement saying that, "I've never been verified on Twitter, so why did my tweet used in the fact-free impeachment include a verification badge? I'm assuming Democrats faked it like they are faking the whole case. Rep. Eric Swalwell, why did you add a verified badge to my tweet in your presentation?" Now, it's not exactly clear how or why this happened. If you've been watching our program for a while, if you've been watching Facts Matter, you'll know that we pull posts from Twitter all the time, and we show them on screen. And from my own personal experience, you would have to go well out of your way to add a fake blue checkmark to an account name. It wouldn't just happen by accident. A Democrat aide who was asked about it, he told our newspaper that the blue checkmark was mistakenly added, but he denied the accusation that there was manipulation. So I don't know what that exactly means. Now, furthermore, if you go back and look at the tweets, Eric Swalwell claimed that she used the word cavalry in this tweet, meaning that we will bring the cavalry, which could sound very menacing. But if you look closely at the tweet, she actually wrote that she will be bringing the Calvary, which is a religious term. It's an open-air representation of Jesus on a cross. And in order to clarify, Jennifer actually wrote a public statement saying that she meant what she wrote, that she will bring the Calvary. She said that, "I'm not in the army either, so the use of the word cavalry would have been pretty stupid. It's a wonder Congressman Swalwell didn't pick up on it." If you'd like to read more about this manipulated tweet, that link will be in the description box below this video for you to check out. And now let's talk about what happened after the impeachment trial came to a close. First of all, after he was acquitted, President Trump released a rare public statement, one of the first that he's released since leaving office. Here's what it said in part. "It is a sad commentary on our times that one political party in America is given a free pass to denigrate the rule of law, defame law enforcement, cheer mobs, excuse rioters, and transform justice into a tool of political vengeance, and persecute, blacklist, cancel, and suppress all people and viewpoints with whom or which they disagree. I always have and always will be a champion for the unwavering rule of law, the heroes of law enforcement, and the right of Americans to peacefully and honorably debate the issues of the day without malice and without hate." His statement then continued, wherein President Trump thanked the 75 million citizens of the country who voted for him, and then he said this: "Our historic, patriotic, and beautiful movement to make America great again has only just begun. In the months ahead, I have much to share with you, and I look forward to continuing our incredible journey together to achieve American greatness for all of our people. There has never been anything like it. We have so much work ahead of us, and soon we will emerge with a vision for a bright, radiant, and limitless American future." If you'd like to read the full statement from the president for yourself, it's actually not very long. That link will be in the description box below this video for you to check out. Now, one important thing to note from President Trump's statement, it's sort of actually written between the lines, which is that President Trump remains a very popular figure in the country and specifically within the Republican Party. And actually, according to his son, the impeachment might have actually made him stronger. According to the Washington Examiner, here's what Donald Trump Jr. said. "It's vindictive. They are trying to tar and feather someone after the fact. And it's only making Trump more powerful because people are starting to see how ridiculous it is." And it's not just him saying this. A recent YouGov poll that was released just last week during the impeachment trial found that 70% of Republicans, 70%, would either join or consider joining a new political party if President Trump were to start one. Now, it's not exactly clear whether President Trump would actually start a new political party, but obviously with numbers like those, they indicate that he is, in a certain respect, still the de facto leader of the Republican Party, which might make it very difficult for the Republican senators who voted against him in the impeachment trial. In total, 57 senators voted to convict President Trump, which included every single Democrat as well as 7 Republicans. And now these 7 Republicans are already facing backlash from within the party. For instance, the Republican Executive Committee out in Louisiana, they unanimously voted to censure Senator Bill Cassidy. Over in North Carolina, the Republican Party there publicly condemned Senator Richard Burr. And in terms of the other 5 senators, we here at the Epoch Times, we actually reached out to the Republican offices over in Nebraska, Utah, Maine, and Alaska for comment, but we have yet to hear back. So another question that comes out of all this is what comes next for President Trump as well as the Republican Party? Well, to start with, there was a recent interview with Mark Meadows, who is the former White House Chief of Staff, which revealed some new insights into President Trump's political plans. Here's what he said. "America and the 75 million voters are not done with Donald Trump and all he did for the country. Trump wants to put America first, but he also plans to stay in the arena." And along that line of President Trump staying in the arena, Senator Lindsey Graham, he said that he will be soon meeting with President Trump to discuss the future of the Republican Party. He told reporters that he's going to work with President Trump on flipping both the House as well as the Senate in the 2022 midterm elections. However, we'll have to wait and see how this all actually plays out because both President Trump as well as some of his supporters have been reported to be disenchanted with a lot of the Republican politicians who are up for re-election in 2022, believing that a lot of them did not actually stand by President Trump during the turmoil that unfolded after the presidential election. And so we'll just have to wait and see how this all plays out in the coming weeks and coming months. If you'd like to go deeper on any of the stories that we discussed today, all of those links will be in the description box below this video for you to check out. And now lastly, I would like to mention something again. On the very same day that Joe Biden was sworn into office, YouTube made the unilateral decision to demonetize our program. We can now no longer run ads before, during, or after Facts Matter, and the Super Chat feature has been disabled. Which, by the way, in my opinion, is very odd. Because if you've been watching this program, you know exactly what we're doing here. We are working to bring back old school journalism. We report things as they are, we try to keep our opinions out of things, and we provide you with a link to all of our articles as well as to the original sources in the description box below all of our videos so that you can fact check us, you can check out the original source material, and come to your own conclusions. But, a lot of kids right now who are coming out of journalism school are being taught something called new journalism. It's also called advocacy journalism, whatever you want to call it. And for a lot of them, it's basically what matters is the issue. It's the narrative that matters. They want to pick an angle that promotes some kind of a cause. And a lot of them want to actually feel like they're doing something, like they're part of some kind of a movement. Whereas with our journalism, the journalism that we do here at the Epoch Times, we say this: our job is to inform people. It's our job to give you an understanding of what is taking place in this world. Because honestly, as far as I'm concerned, that's why people read newspapers. And that's why people watch news programs like this. They don't want to watch a news program. They don't want to read a newspaper to be taught how to think. They read newspapers, they watch the news in order to get a full picture of what's taking place in this world, and then they want to draw their own conclusions. I mean, that's what I believe, at least. Let me know in the comment section below if you agree with that or not. And yet, we have been demonetized by big tech. It's, in my opinion, ridiculous. When I make videos on this platform on YouTube, I honestly feel like I'm working behind enemy lines. I have to work through a bunch of mental gymnastics because I know that there are certain topics that I can never talk about, certain words that I can't use. It honestly does not feel like making news in the United States of America. However, if you would like to support honest journalism, if you would like to support Epoch Times, I will throw a link in the description box below this video to a page where you can subscribe. And I really hope that you do. It only costs a few dollars every month, but by subscribing to the Epoch Times, you'll have access to all of our reports, all of our investigations, and if anything ever happens here on YouTube, you will continue to have access to all of our programs, like Facts Matter, Crossroads, American Thought Leaders, and all the rest. So again, that link will be in the description box below this video for you to check out, and I hope that you join us. I hope that you subscribe. Now lastly, if you haven't already, smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm, subscribe to this YouTube channel while you still can, and until next time, I'm your host, Roman from the Epoch Times. Stay informed and stay free.